Welcome back, everybody. You know, most of the time when we go shopping, we don't put a lot of thought into the people who work at the store. But that may change once you shopped at Our Thrift in Franklin, Tennessee. Our thrift store not only offers great low-price items to its customers, but they also provide special needs young adults the opportunity to be gainfully employed. So they're giving back to the community in a big way. Here to tell us more is Dave Krekak. He's the founder of the Gear Foundation, the organization behind Our Thrift Store. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Tawana, for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here. I never get tired of talking about Our Thrift Store.
You shouldn't.
Just when you said that, I just smiled.
Did you? Because what you're doing is such a wonderful, wonderful idea, first of all, to come up with a way the customers are getting a great product, and then you're giving these young people an opportunity to work. Let's start from the beginning, though. How did the idea for Our Thrift Store come about?
Well, it came about when I got laid off. I mean, I had started companies and built companies, and I've done everything you could possibly think about. I mean, my resume is scary, but I've just done so much. So when I got laid off, I thought, well, I'll just go try to get another job, because I've had a pretty good connection with a lot of folks and had businesses where I can call folks. Literally, I was being prevented from getting a job. So every morning I'd get up, get my coffee, and I'd start to, you know, make my phone calls, do whatever, and literally it would be blocked. So month after month, I'm going out. Well, meanwhile, my daughter, who has autism, was graduating from Centennial High School there in Franklin, and I thought, well, she needs to get a job. And she was in a transition program, this program that takes young adults out into the community and teaches them what it's like to have a job. Well, that is from about the time they're 18 till about 22. So she's graduating from that transition program. So I said, well, let's go get a job, Sarah, because I'm not doing nothing.
Right.
So we started to go out and find a job. And as I started to uncover, there was a 50% unemployment rate with special needs young adults, just like her. So I'm really praying about it, like, who's going to do something about this? I mean, this is a huge problem. There were thousands of young adults in our county that were unemployed. And I thought, well, who's going to do something about this problem? And over it kept coming back. You are, yeah. So I thought, okay, well, if that's why I'm being prevented from getting a job, then this is probably going to be a calling. So I said, well, if that's your idea, I need to know. So I had been praying about if I was going to start a nonprofit, I wanted to do something, pray about something that I knew nobody knew about. So I said, if somebody offers to pay for my nonprofit, that'd be a God thing. That'd be a green light. Well, sure enough, I met with a friend of mine. He says, hey, what you up to? I said, well, let me tell you, I've been looking into this unemployment thing, and Sarah's trying to find a job, and I can't find a job for nothing. And he says, well, tell me about it. And I said, well, I think there needs to be somebody that can come alongside young adults with disabilities and teach them what it's like to have a job, and then actually create a job for them based on their skills, what they bring, right job, right kid, a good fit. I said, interesting. Next couple of days, he says, well, hey, I couldn't sleep the other night. I want to be a part of this. I said, well, his name was Rick Myers. I said, Rick, what do you want to do? He says, well, I said, why don't you be on my board? He goes, no, I want to help you financially. I said, well, what specifically? And I'm looking at my journal. He says, let me pay to have your nonprofit set up.
Oh, wow.
I said, buddy, you just answered a prayer that nobody knew about. So I went out and hired my first kid, Nathan Cawley. And I said, Nathan, come on, I want to do this thing. We're gonna go out and do stuff. And the only thing I had was painting mailboxes in a subdivision. So for $35, we're painting mailboxes. And that summer, we're painting mailboxes. And I'm saying, all right, Lord, is this what we're doing? How many kids am I going to hire to paint mailboxes? So every day we're going out painting mailboxes. And after a while, I thought, well, what about a thrift store? And it just started to bubble up.
Yeah.
So I contacted the ARC of Williamson County and Sharon Bodorf, and I said, Sharon, I'm thinking about starting a thrift store. She said, I'll start telling people about it. I said, sure enough. Started looking for a building. Sure enough, there was a building in downtown Franklin that had been abandoned in the H.G. Hill Shopping Center. And it was $3,500. And I thought, I don't have $3,500. So I was praying about it and applied for a Middle Tennessee Electric had a program called Operation Roundup. Now it's called Sharing Change. And they take a portion of everybody's bill. It equates to about $6 a year per family. And they round it up and they give it to nonprofits. So I had applied, and sure enough, my application came in right at the last minute. And I remember Bill, one of the grantors that works with them, said, can I meet with you and talk about what you're thinking of doing? I said, sure. So we come down, and I'm in front of the building. We're looking through the building. I said, I want to start a thrift store right here. And he's looking through next to me, and he said, do you have any retail experience? I said, none whatsoever. So he said, I'll get back with you. And I told him about the program, what we're planning on doing. So sure enough, he had his partner that worked with these grants, that the two of them tag team on them. He said, can you brief her on what we're doing? I said, absolutely. So she came down, we're all three lined up looking through the front. And she said, well, tell me what you're going to do. Well, I think we're going to start a thrift store. I could hire many, many more kids if we did that. Processing, accepting donations, etc.
Yeah.
She said, do you have any retail experience? I said, none whatsoever.
That's the second time.
Yeah. So shortly after that, I got a call from them, and they said, we've approved your $5,000 grant. Well, by the time we opened, which was 45 days later, I had already been asked by my pastor to stand up at church and tell people what we're up to. So sure enough, I'm standing up in front of church, and he says, tell everybody what you're doing. 3,500 people at the time were coming. I said, everybody knows me, Dave, my daughter Sarah, blah, 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 and we're going to start a thrift store. Pastor Steve says, okay, you can sit back down. I sit back down. He said, everybody hear that? He said, okay, everybody's going to have Bible studies this month. Canceled Bible studies. Go help Dave. If you're going to meet on Monday night, go help Dave. If you're going to meet on Tuesday, go help Dave. Sure enough, 45 days later, had about 110 coming through, 110 people volunteering.
Oh my goodness.
Busting up stuff, moving stuff. We launched the store. And I had 4 special needs young adults hired, including my daughter that day. Had the Tennessee Titans there.
Oh, wow.
Kevin Carter and his wife Shima were there.
Yes.
They signed autographs for 2 hours, and that neighborhood was excited because this was a thrift store. And it was just phenomenal. Well, that first day, we sold everything out of the
store.
Oh my gosh, we sold everything. But we've been profitable ever since.
That is a wonderful
Almost 12
story, Dave.
years.
12 years profitable.
46 employees. 25 of those are special needs
Are
young
you
adults.
serious? And you're able to train these young people with skills, life
Absolutely.
skills. That must help their self-esteem so much.
They know they have gifts and talents that God gave them. All we do is we plug them into the right job. One young man came to us with computer skills, and he was working in a job which is crazy for $4 an hour. It's pretty much volunteering for 4 years. His dad came into the area and introduced me to him. Found out he knew everything about computers. His name's Robert. Knew how to fix them and reformat them and take them apart and put them back together again. Incredible.
Yeah.
So his dad said, well, do you think he'd ever get a job here? I said, how about you start Tuesday?
Oh.
He's been with us for almost 8 years. And
what does this mean to the parents, Dave? I
my
know
goodness.
the parents are so grateful and thankful for what you've done here, started.
Well, as a parent, I could tell you it's a big deal for your kids to have purpose. And this is something, that's why we call it our thrift store. It's theirs. They have ownership. So the kids that process, they own it. The Robert who works on computers, he owns it. He'll tell everybody where he works. Literally, I have evangelists for our thrift store, and that's every special needs young adult. GEAR stands for Gainful Employment and Respect. That's why we started that foundation name. And under that, we have our thrift store and our fulfillment center, and maybe one day our whatever.
Yeah.
But it also stands for Grateful Employees and Relatives.
Okay, I can see that.
It also stands for greater earnings and rewards for the community, because it's benefiting the family, their friends, and the community around them.
And what was the quote you told me before we began? Stuff equals
Jobs.
stuff equals jobs.
That's our tagline.
And I love that, because you're absolutely right, and especially in this case. I want to brag on you, point out you just won this year Williamson County's Best Thrift Store Award.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you brought that up. It's fun.
Well, I know you didn't necessarily want to brag on yourself, but I thought I should.
Thank you so much.
Because people are coming in, and you have a variety of wonderful things in this store.
Well, we just had an air conditioning unit go to heaven. It's about $12,000 to fix, but guess what came in that same day? A rug, a Persian rug that was appraised at $40,000.
What?
Yes. We'll probably sell it for around 10 if all goes well.
Yeah.
But literally, that's been happening for 12 years.
Things like that.
Crazy. We get baby grand pianos, we have Persian rugs, we get cars, we get everything. So literally, we're a social enterprise, no question.
Yeah.
We don't need people to write us big fat checks, because I can't do anything with the money. I mean, I would love that,
You want to be able to get the
I
jobs.
want the stuff, because the stuff creates the jobs. That is the key. So the more stuff we have, the more kids I hire.
So people can come and donate items?
Every day.
So if folks out there watching just, have some things they want to donate, they can come bring them?
Absolutely. We had a couple drove up from North Carolina last week with a trunk full of stuff because they know our mission, and they said, we're going to donate to our thrift store.
And that's why I want to come shop there, because your mission is incredible. You're helping so many young people. Thank you so much for being here, Dave, and all that you're doing. So glad to know about you. I want to also thank my earlier guest, Sarah Martin McConnell, along with Todd Eglin, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.